Hi, Sandra from Creating Spain here, and as promised, I'm going to give you a look at my silver bullet. This is the machine right in front of me, and as you can see, I've put in the carrier mat, and I've just put a piece of paper on the carrier mat so you can see what I'm up to a bit better. Now, the things I'm going to do, I try and explain the differences between something like this and a cameo or a portrait. One of the main differences you can see, particularly if I come around the side, is the sheer size. This is probably about 3 times the size of a silhouette cameo. Okay, this is not a machine that is going to be easily portable, unless you fancy a little bit of weightlifting. Okay, that might do it. But to be honest, it's the sort of machine that really needs to stay put. You're not really going to want to take it around too many places. Okay, the top of it is where the controls are, various buttons to do various things. The online button and the button also serves as an offline button. The machine must be in online mode, and it's got nothing to do with being connected to the internet, you don't need that. But it must be connected on the online mode, as it were, to do any cutting. You have a test button, a menu button. The menu button accesses various things that you probably won't need to adjust very much at all. And a repeat button and a pause button, those are self-explanatory. On the other side, you have buttons that in one mode, when they're offline, they move the carriage left and right. So if I press that, you see the carriage move one way, carriage move the other way. And also, while it's online, it's okay, it's coming out, it's supposed to, you can adjust the force that's going to be given. So for example, I've gone up to 102 there. And you can increase or decrease the speed by using these other buttons. The one in the middle is one that really sets this machine apart from a cameo or a portrait. It's an origin button, and unlike a cameo or portrait where you put into the software the size of the mat you're going to use and the paper, and it's very important that those two match, on this it really doesn't make too much difference. I've got, I think it's a 16-inch mat here, and I have my piece of paper set up in the centre. I could put it up there, I could put it down there, I could put it anywhere I want. It really makes very little difference, because what you do when you want to cut, and I'm not talking about print and cut here, I'm talking about straightforward cutting shapes, is you go offline, you take it so that your blade is over the paper, and you put the blade in the bottom, sorry, camera's going off, you put the blade in the bottom right hand corner of your starting point for your design, where you want your design to start. And you can do that, and then you will press the origin button, and that will be the starting area for your design. You can use what you see is what you get, which is more what you are going to be using if you have a portrait or a cameo, where you have your mat and your paper set up to the same size, and wherever you put your design on the software is where it is cut out on the paper. But this gives you the option of changing your mind about where you want to put the design without altering the software side of things at all. And so you would line up your blade and off you go. Now, the thing with the silver bullet is that it normally does not come with a blade holder like this. This one arrived for me today. I'd ordered it specially, and it has numbers on it. So it's a click blade holder, as you have with the silhouette cameo, for example. It normally comes with a metal blade holder, and you can use whatever blades you choose to buy in it. It doesn't have to be Gravtech blades, but you can use other blades in it. But it does not have a numerical setting. You wind the blade out or in, and you have to judge it by eye. You don't have anything to give you a guideline, but this obviously does. Okay, the main difference with the Silhouette and the Cameo, the Silhouette Cameo and the Portrait and the Silver Bullet is simply the types of material that it can cope with. This is a much stronger machine, much more force, and it can cut materials that those machines just wouldn't be able to cope with. And I'm going to stroll over here now and show you a few things that it can cut. Fun foam, this is 1mm. I'm sure it will quite happily cut much thicker than the 1mm, but this is like a standard thickness for a fun foam. This is a textured card that my Cameo positively hated to cut. In order to cut this, it had to have a brand new blade virtually every time. It loathed it. It would drag, it would tear the card apart. With this machine, no problem whatsoever. This one is a much thinner fun foam, and occasionally you can find it this thin, and this just cuts really, really easily. This here is, I don't know if you can actually see it, it is an embellished card, and with the Cameo it would cut most of the card just fine until it got to some of the embellished bits, and then it didn't really like those a great deal. Now this, I don't know if you can tell from this, but this is the outside of a pocket folder. It's very strong plastic. It's not overly thick, but there is no way on earth a Cameo would have cut that, not a chance. And this is another piece of something very similar. Okay, and these can be cut. As you can see, I've got holes in it where I was experimenting, and they can be cut quite nicely. Now, one advantage of being able to cut these, and I don't know if you can see it in this light, artificial light is not very clever. Yeah, I think you can probably see that, is you can make embossing folders with them. And basically what I did was I cut out a design out of this, put one part of the design on one side of the folder and the other part on the opposite side, and then you have your own homemade embossing folders. So yeah, it's very clever. It's also very quick, and it is a lot quicker than the Cameo and the Portrait. It is usable with a Mac if you have, it automatically comes with Shortcuts a Lot software. So if you have a Mac, you're okay, because that's Mac compatible. Obviously Silhouette Studio is Mac compatible as well, but the software for this is Mac compatible, which is very important to know, as well as Windows compatible. Now I'm going to put this down now, and I'm going to actually show you some of the workings, if you like, of the Shortcuts a Lot software and how it tells you to cut things, particularly a print and cut. Thanks for watching. Bye.